Hi guys. So the last time I posted a video, I got a lot of personal one-on-one outreach from friends and acquaintances who told me they could either relate to my story or they knew someone else who was going through it. So that just made me all the more glad that I shared, because it is tough being vulnerable, but necessary at the same time, because how else are we going to feel less alone and feel more like a community and build our sisterhood without us being honest about the journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly? So I want to talk a little bit about my pregnancy again, going back to last year, and the self-love and self-healing that I had to undergo. I left off on a very positive and inspirational tone in my last video, because I did have a great pregnancy physically, mentally, and emotionally. But that doesn't mean it didn't take work. I think in the grand summary, like the footnotes of my journey, yes, it was great, but it actually required a lot of micro moments of breakdowns and crying and like self-analyzing and self-healing. And I had to pretty much process a breakup and find closure for a really bad toxic relationship ending while having a baby. And it was just such a mind fuck for a while. Because you're trying to compartmentalize your feelings, or that's what I was doing. And you need to, because you can't have whatever negativity you feel about your ex partner or whoever the baby of your daddy is bleed into the love you feel for your baby. And they never crossed paths. It was just very bittersweet to go through the things that I went through. And you need to go through these things. I had to feel the sadness, the anger, the pain that came from the outcome of how me and my ex ended up. Because if I didn't heal myself in the 8 months that I had, I knew I would fall apart as a mom. Like, I would fall apart as a human. And I had to build character. I had to get strong. There was no way I was going to let my baby come into this earth while their mama was still damaged or healing. And this is not to say it's not a work in progress. It is always. We're always healing. But I had to really dig into all my traumas. I had to dig into deep trauma, not just even things about me and my ex, but because I had to move back home and live with my family again. And I built a way closer and stronger relationship with my mom that wasn't necessarily there before, because I moved away and lived in Toronto. And maybe subconsciously I did that for good reason. So I had to confront trauma and issues I had with my family, each and every one of them, almost every single one of them I got into a fight with. And I can blame it on hormones. I can blame it on just all the emotions I was going through as a pregnant lady, but it definitely tied into whatever prior issues we had too as a family. So confront everything you need to confront. Don't sweep it under the rug. You might think, yeah, that's not my philosophy at all. My philosophy just as a human is pull all the negative out, let it burn to the ground. Let every negative, toxic feeling you have come out. Have a catharsis. You need it. You're birthing a child. You can't birth a child. You can't grow a child in you with negativity right in your heart, because that energy is being transferred. It is your baby is taking nutrients from you. Your baby is taking energy from you. You are feeding your baby. Your blood, your everything is going into your child. So it is naive to think, if you are thinking negative thoughts, self-loathing thoughts, that those aren't being passed down. There's something called generational trauma am not an expert on it, but it's basically the belief that that we are passed down trauma ancestrally. Like I'm carrying trauma from my prior ancestors because as a woman, we have our eggs from birth, and whatever experiences we go through in life, they are inherently, carried in us forever. And that energy is passed down from generation to generation. So, in trying to break generational curses, generational trauma, and grow in the name of growing, like your soul, heal yourself as best as you can so you're not bringing your baby into a life where you're not happy with who you are, you're not happy with where you are. Because I will tell you, full disclosure, I was so genuinely happy and content with where I was at. I feel like in acknowledging that everything happens for a reason, and then timing being everything, the prior 2 pregnancies that I had that were unsuccessful, those happened for a reason. Those losses happened because I wasn't meant to have a baby yet. I trusted the universe in delivering that as my journey. And my life's purpose at that moment in time was to have to build my character and strength and to not rely on anyone to supplement that happiness. And I think that was probably one of the lessons I had, like a life lesson I had to learn. I think in a lot of my prior relationships with partners, I relied so heavily in seeking like that companionship to fulfill like a void in me. I proceeded with my journey into becoming a mom, having to go through my physical changes, hormonal changes, financial changes, all these huge life transitions on my own. But that was the journey I was given, and that was what, at the end of the day, I chose. And I recognized the beauty and the lesson in that. I've learned my lessons. I've learned my lessons from the past year, and just try not to shy away from what the universe is putting in front of you and telling you you need to do. I couldn't be a victim in the situation. There was no way. I was not going to carry my baby with a victimhood mentality. I mean, yeah, I was put through a lot of shit. I saw a lot of shit. Shit that I hope other women don't have to see or feel or experience. But in going through it, surviving it, and finding my strength in it, and conquering the internal battle that it was, I recognize I'm stronger for it. My baby was with me the whole time, keeping me strong, making sure I felt loved. And that was huge. When I was pregnant the 3rd time, I could feel my baby's spirit. I could feel Eli's spirit. It like kept me sane and happy. Like when it was just me by myself with him in my belly, like I would be doing the most mundane things and I just felt him. And it was beautiful. And I know this video is a little like it's spiritual for sure. Like I'm here to speak to my spiritual journey, but like, yeah, it is a little out there. And if that's not where you're at yet, that's okay. I just want to talk about this because your self-healing and if you're in pain, your self-healing is important, and you want to work on that before your baby comes, because you don't want to be carrying your baby in that victim mentality. Like I said, like you want to be carrying your baby with like self-awareness, like in light. You want to live in the light. And your first step is to go through the dark. The only way out is through. So get through it. You can't avoid it. You can't brush it under the rug. Feel the feelings you need to feel. If it's anger, hatred, resentment, let yourself feel it, but don't stay in it and don't wallow in it, and recognize you're gonna get out of it, and your baby's there to pull you out of it. Your baby's gonna keep you up. But you have to do your work. That's it. I don't even know if this is worth posting. I feel like I'm rambling, but I will rewatch this and we will see. And if it's, we will see. Till next time.